The hidden lie that makes perfectionists quit. You keep quitting when it's not perfect yet, right when momentum starts. That's not laziness, it's a safety move. The hidden lie your brain whispers is, if it isn't perfect, it isn't safe. Safe from criticism, safe from looking foolish, safe from shame. Today, I'll reframe perfectionism as shame avoidance and give you a 4-step fix so you can ship faster without torching your standards. Watch for the safety myth, the 70% rule, and the repair ritual. Those 3 shift everything. Let's unpack why your brain keeps picking perfect or nothing, and how to choose progress with protection you can trust. Problem: the perfectionism shame loop. Perfectionism looks like high standards, but the engine under the hood is shame avoidance. Here's the loop. You set sky-high standards, you delay to get it right. Delay turns into avoidance, avoidance triggers shame, and that shame convinces you your only way out is to raise the standards even higher. Round and round. It feels logical. If the stakes feel brutal, make the work flawless, but it backfires. The more you chase flawless, the less you ship, and the less feedback you get to actually improve. Why the usual advice? Just lower your standards. Doesn't land, it skips the shame triggers. Your standards aren't random, they're your armor against social judgment. Someone once rolled their eyes, a teacher circled your paper in red, a boss said this needs more polish, and your brain learned, if it's perfect, I don't get hurt. So when people say, just let it be messy, your nervous system hears walk out without a shield. Of course you resist. Perfectionism is a control strategy. If you control every variable, no one can catch you off guard. You rehearse replies before sending the email. You research for days before starting the draft. You tweak a thumbnail 50 times so no comment can say lazy. The goal isn't excellence, it's no vulnerability. And that's the trap. Control doesn't eliminate risk. It delays exposure until you're more attached, more exhausted, and ironically, more fragile. Let me give you a quick story. A student of mine spent 4 extra weeks delaying a launch. The sales page was nearly there, the onboarding email needed a stronger hook, and she should probably add 2 more lessons before announcing. Underneath, she was dodging feedback. Announcing made it real. Real meant reviews. Reviews might mean not good enough. So she kept polishing. When she finally launched, the product was solid, but she'd lost the early momentum from warm leads, and she was too drained to iterate quickly. What stung most wasn't the muted sales, it was how the delay fed the narrative that she wasn't ready. That's the loop tightening. The costs stack up fast. Lost momentum. Momentum is a trust fund you build with small deposits. Delay bleeds it out. Identity fragility. If your worth hinges on flawless work, any flaw becomes an identity threat, not a fixable issue. Career stall. You can't compound if you don't ship. No shipping means no data, no relationships, no referrals, no practice. Now here's where most people mess up. They fight the loop at the do more level, longer hours, more research, one last pass. But the loop is emotional, not informational. More knowledge doesn't quiet shame. Safer conditions do. If your brain believes the only safety is perfect, any good enough choice feels like self-betrayal. So you either freeze or overwork. Both end in the same place. No publish, no progress, more shame. Let me back up and name the pattern in your body. You set a big standard. Your nervous system scans for danger. What if they think I'm average? Heart rate ticks up. You pull back to add just one more improvement. The relief is instant. That relief rewards delay. Your brain learns avoidance equals relief. So next time, it pushes you to wait even longer. That's why perfectionism is sticky. It's not an idea problem, it's a relief habit. The thing most people miss is how shame narrows your options. Instead of asking, what gets the outcome? You start asking, what keeps me safe? That flips every decision. You don't pick the shortest path, you pick the least exposing path. You choose anonymous research over public drafts. You choose private tinkering over small batch tests. You choose silence over, here's my WIP. And silence feels safe until you realize it's also starving you of the inputs that would actually make the work better. I've also seen the loop hit identity. When the standard is flawless, your identity becomes the person who never slips. You avoid challenges you can't dominate, which means you avoid growth. You become a curator of highlight reels instead of a builder of version histories. It looks impressive from the outside, but inside you're constantly bracing. That bracing leaks into everything: sleep, relationships, creative energy. So what's the lie your brain keeps telling you? It's simple and seductive. If it isn't perfect, it isn't safe. If it's not airtight, they'll see you. If they see you, they'll judge you. If they judge you, you'll feel shame you can't repair. That last part is the kicker. You don't trust your repair capacity. You think the only way to avoid pain is to avoid exposure, which means you never build the skill that actually creates safety, the ability to ship, get notes, and repair without collapsing. Once you see the loop, you can break it, but not with willpower sprints or pep talks. You break it by changing what safety means in your system. Safety can't live in "no one will find a flaw." It has to live in "when they find a flaw, I know how to respond." That's the pivot that frees you from perfect or nothing and puts you onto progress with repair. The hidden lie: perfection equals safety. Here's the belief running the show: if your work is flawless, you won't feel shame. No rejection. No "who do you think you are?" No status drop. Your brain pitches perfection as the safest route, like airtight armor that keeps judgment out. That promise feels true because delaying does give you a hit of relief. But safety built on silence is a false wall. No feedback means no adaptation, and no adaptation slowly erodes trust in yourself and from others. The thing most people miss is that perfection hides, while progress exposes and strengthens. Hiding looks safe because nobody can tag you if they can't see you. But you also can't build the muscles that handle pressure. Progress, even imperfect, is exposure practice. Each small, visible step says, "I can be seen and keep going." That's what actually raises your safety ceiling. Let me show you the distortion set that props up the lie. First, catastrophizing. A typo becomes "they'll think I'm incompetent." Your brain jumps from a small error to a career-ending story. Second, mind reading. You assume what they will think and you assign the harshest judge in your head to every audience. Third, all or nothing identity. If the deliverable isn't exceptional, then you're average, and if you're average, you're unworthy. That's not quality control, that's identity control. Quick distortions, check you can save. Catastrophizing, this flaw equals career ending. Counter, what's the most likely outcome? What's my repair step? Mind reading, they'll think X. Counter, what data do I have? Ask 2 people at 30%. All or nothing, if not great, it's garbage. Counter, it's V1, greatness is built over reps. Emotional reasoning, I feel unsafe, so it is unsafe. Counter, safety equals repair plan on the calendar. Personalization, one note equals I'm the problem. Counter, notes are about the work, triage by impact. Now, why is the lie false in practice? Because silence isn't neutral. It looks like safety, but it quietly costs you opportunity, accuracy, and trust. Opportunity, people can't help or hire what they can't see. Accuracy, your guesses about what's good go untested, so your map drifts from reality. Trust, reliability grows when you show up and adjust in public. Trying to avoid any flaw breaks all 3. The reason this clicked for me was watching creators who shipped early drafts build credibility faster than those polishing in secret. Their work wasn't cleaner, their repair loop was visible. They'd say, "Thanks for the note, fix pushed, and move." Every repair rep said, "I'm safe because I can respond." That's real safety. Not never messing up, knowing what to do after. Before we continue, you need to understand the nervous system angle. Avoidance lowers anxiety today, which teaches your brain that hiding equals relief. But relief without learning reinforces threat sensitivity. You feel more fragile over time, not less. Controlled exposure, small, planned visibility with guardrails does the opposite. It lifts anxiety a notch, gives you a win, then drops it. Repeat that, and your baseline fear shrinks. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Safety through repair beats safety through perfect. If you remember nothing else from this part, remember this swap. Perfect tries to remove every future risk in advance, which is impossible and exhausting. Repair assumes some risk will land, then builds a playbook to catch and correct. One path makes you brittle, the other makes you anti-fragile. Let me make it concrete. 2 managers ship a team memo. Manager A spends 6 hours polishing to avoid pushback. Manager B spends 2 hours drafting, adds a line, reply with 1 if clear, 2 if unclear, will fix by 3 p.m. Manager B gets quick signals, patches at 2:30, logs the change, and everyone sees responsiveness. Who's safer next time? The one with proof they can repair in the open. Now here, S where most people mess up. They think show your work means drop your bar. It doesn't. We're not trading excellence for speed. We're trading invisible anxiety for visible iteration. You still define non-negotiables. You just stop trying to pre-solve imaginary critics and let reality give you the right problems to solve. A A quick exercise you can try today: write down one belief your critic uses to sell perfect as safety. Something like, "If this has a flaw, they'll never trust me again." Now answer with a repair statement. "If there's a flaw, I'll acknowledge it, fix it within 48 hours, and share the change." Speak it out loud. Your body needs to hear a path that doesn't end in doom. The payoff is practical and emotional. Practically, you learn faster because you're in contact with the environment. Emotionally, your shame sensitivity drops because you keep proving you can recover. You stop negotiating with imagined audiences and start negotiating with facts. If safety's the goal, here's the better path. Stop trying to feel safe by eliminating all exposure. Build safety by planning for exposure and practicing repair. That shift unlocks momentum without blowing up your standards. And it's exactly what the Progress Plus repair system will help you do next. Better method overview: Progress Plus repair system. Here's the better model in one line: ship earlier, learn faster, repair confidently. Instead of trying to pre-solve every possible criticism, we design a system that makes small exposure safe and fixes expected. You'll still care about quality, but we're moving the safety from "no flaws exist" to "I know what to do when they show up." This system rests on 4 pillars. Pillar 1 is the 70% rule. You ship when the core outcome is met, even if the polish isn't finished. Because 70% now beats percent perfect later, and momentum compounds. You'll define the non-negotiables, the parts that must work, then defer the nice-to-haves to a scheduled repair window. Pillar 2 is scope collapse. Shrink the deliverable without losing the outcome. That might mean a 3-slide update instead of a 20-page deck, a 5-minute demo instead of a full webinar, or a single chapter draft instead of the whole ebook. The win is less decision friction and fewer places for shame to hide. You're lowering exposure per unit of progress while protecting standards where they matter. Pillar 3 is feedback floors. You'll set minimum checkpoints for reality to talk back at 30, 70, and 90%. Not with a crowd, but with a minimum viable audience who will answer focused questions. At 30%, you're asking, "Am I solving the right problem?" At 70, "What's missing for clarity?" At 90, "Any showstoppers before ship?" Early notes convert imagined shame into solvable edits. Pillar 4 is the repair ritual. This is the safety engine. You pre-schedule a 24-72-hour repair window right after shipping. The protocol is simple: triage, patch, reflect. Triage, prioritize issues by impact. Patch, fix the top items fast and communicate the change. Reflect, capture what caused the issue and adjust your checklist. Think public changelog energy, even if public is just your team. Why does this work? Controlled exposure grows your shame tolerance. When you ship in smaller, planned increments and then repair on purpose, your brain learns, "I can be seen and survive." Anxiety spikes a bit, then drops after you handle it. Repeat that loop and your system recalibrates. The stakes stop feeling life or death, and you stop overinvesting in polish that no longer buys safety. Here's the shortcut that makes it stick: pre-commit to repair before you ship. Put it on the calendar. That one move lowers pre-ship anxiety because you're not gambling, you've already budgeted for fixes. You don't have to nail every corner, you just have to meet the outcome and follow the repair plan you promised yourself. Let me give you a quick win for this week. Pick one active project. Define its 70% version in one sentence. For this to count, it must X next, collapse the scope to a one-sitting deliverable, the slice you can build in 90 minutes or less. Then, pick 2 people for a 30% check and write 2 questions you'll ask them. Finally, block a 2-hour repair window the day after you ship. That's the whole system, lightweight. Now you might be thinking, won't this lower my bar? No, excellence comes from iteration, not endless isolation. The non-negotiables keep the bar where it counts. The system removes the guesswork and shame tax that slow you down. If anything, your standards get sharper because reality is editing with you. This next part separates beginners from pros. Pros don't trust pre-flight perfection. They trust their ability to land and service the plane. The Progress Plus repair system gives you that operational confidence. And once you nail it on one project, you can scale it across your workflow without burning out. Let's build each pillar so it sticks. Pillar 1, the 70% rule. The reason the 70% rule matters is simple. 70% quality beats percent perfect, and momentum compounds. When you wait for 100%, you trade weeks for marginal gains that most people won't notice, while you lose the only advantage that actually changes your trajectory: iterations in the real world. The longer you hold, the heavier the launch becomes. Release at 70%, and you buy two things perfection can't: learning speed and identity safety through proof you can ship and repair. Here, what the 70% rule is. Ship when the core outcome is met, even if the edges are rough. That doesn't mean be sloppy. It means define the non-negotiables up front and hit those, then deliberately defer polish to a scheduled repair window. Non-negotiables are the essentials that deliver the promise. Nice-to-haves are the flourishes that delight but aren't necessary for the outcome. If the promise is clarity, then structure and accurate content are non-negotiables. Animated graphics and witty transitions are nice-to-haves. Let me show you exactly how to apply it. Start by writing a 2-column list for your task. Left column, non-negotiables; right column, nice-to-haves. Keep each non-negotiable measurable. For a blog post, non-negotiables might be clear thesis, 3 supporting sections, 1 example per section, correct citations. Nice-to-haves: custom illustrations, advanced SEO polish, extra anecdotes. Then set a hard ship date. Build only the left column until you meet the core outcome. If time remains, pull 1 or 2 items from the right. If not, ship as planned and use your repair window to add polish based on actual feedback. An example to anchor it: you're publishing an article. You define the outcome as help readers execute a 3-step morning planning routine. Non-negotiables: accurate steps, clean structure, 1 worksheet link that works. Nice-to-haves: a story opener, a custom header image, a bonus tip section. You get the structure tight, confirm the steps are correct, and link a basic Google Doc worksheet. You skip the custom graphics for now, you ship. In your 48-hour repair block, you add the story intro and swap the basic worksheet for a branded PDF based on reader questions. The value landed on day 1, the polish followed without derailing momentum. Now here's where most people mess up: vague checklists and slippery deadlines. Make it good isn't a non-negotiable. Readers can finish this routine in under 10 minutes and ship this week isn't a deadline. Ship Thursday by 3 p.m. is. Vague scopes invite scope creep. When you're tired, your brain will just add 1 more improvement, and suddenly you're back in the loop. Lock the criteria, lock the clock, and make the repair window the place for extras. Another mistake is secret extensions. You blow past the deadline, but only you know. That teaches your brain there's no consequence for moving the goalposts. Fix it by externalizing the ship, tell a peer, put it on a shared calendar, or schedule the publish. If you miss, don't push the whole project. Shrink the slice and still ship something that meets the core outcome. Keep the cadence sacred. The thing most people miss is that 70% now changes the kind of feedback you get. When you're stuck in pre-ship polish, your questions are hypothetical. Will they like this? After shipping, your questions are concrete. Which part confused them? That switch lets you spend effort where it matters. You're not guessing, you're targeting. Let me give you a quick micro story. A creator I coached spent 2 weeks perfecting B-roll and color grading on a tutorial. We defined her 70%, accurate steps, on-screen captions, clear audio. She shipped in 4 days. The top comment? Could you include the keyboard shortcuts? Not a single person mentioned color grading. She added a shortcut overlay during her 48-hour repair window and saw watch time jump. That's 70% in action. Progress first, polish second, results improve. If you're thinking, but my field has high standards, good. The 70% rule respects that by protecting the essentials and scheduling the polish. Excellence isn't about never shipping rough edges. It's about sequencing the right work at the right time. You'll be judged more on clarity, correctness, and responsiveness than on whether your corners are perfectly rounded on day 1. Here's your quick application checklist. Define the promise in 1 sentence. List non-negotiables that deliver that promise. List nice-to-haves that enhance it. Set a hard ship date and a 24-72-hour repair window. Build to the non-negotiables, then ship, then polish. If you remember nothing else, 70%, now 100% never. This is the pivot that gets you out of hiding and into compounding gains. Now that you can hit the outcome sooner, we'll shrink the target so you can move today. Pillar 2, scope collapse. Now that you can hit outcomes sooner, let's make it even easier to start by collapsing scope. Scope collapse means you reduce the size of the deliverable without sacrificing the outcome. Smaller scope lowers shame risk, cuts decision friction, and lets you see reality faster. When the target is huge, every choice feels reputation-sized. When the target is tiny and precise, you can move with less second-guessing and still deliver value. Here's why this matters. Big projects invite perfectionism because there are endless places to hide. More research, more slides, more scenes, more features. Each edition feels like responsible thoroughness, but it's often fear padding. Shrinking scope forces clarity. What's the minimum people need to get the promised outcome? Answer that, and the work gets sharper. Anxiety drops because the path is finite, and you create a quick win that fuels the next rep. What is scope collapse in practice? 3 levers. Cut features. Deliver the single capability that solves the main pain. Shorten length. Fewer slides, pages, minutes, or words. Timebox aggressively. Limit the build window so decisions resolve now, not after one more pass. Let me show you exactly how. Start with your promise sentence from the 70% rule. Then ask, what's the one-sitting version that keeps that promise? One sitting means 90 minutes or less. If the promise is align the team on priorities, the one-sitting version might be a 3-slide client update instead of a 20-page deck. Slide 1, goal and status. Slide 2, top 3 priorities with owners. Slide 3, risks and next checkpoints. Same outcome alignment without the rabbit holes. Another example, you're building a lead magnet. The sprawling version is a 40-page ebook with custom illustrations. The scope-collapsed version is a 2-page checklist that helps readers execute the same core steps today. The checklist ships this week. If it lands, you can expand later with proof of what matters most to your audience. Before we continue, you need to understand the biggest mistake, collapsing quality instead of scope. Scope collapse should protect standards on essentials. We're shrinking the container, not the integrity. Keep your non-negotiables from earlier: accuracy, clarity, working links, respectful tone. Cut everything that decorates without moving the outcome. That's how you avoid the rushed feeling and keep trust. Here's a simple decision tree you can use. Does this element directly help the promise land? If yes, keep. Does it delight but not change the outcome? If time remains, maybe. Does it mainly soothe my fear of judgment? Cut now, consider after feedback. Now, how do you time box without panic? Use the 45-30-15 split. First 45 minutes, assemble the core structure. Next 30, fill only the non-negotiables. Final 15, micro-polish the roughest edges and sanity check. Then stop. If you find yourself adding a new section in the last 15, that's a red flag that scope is slipping. Let me give you a micro story. A client had a quarterly update that ballooned every time. We collapsed scope to a 3-slide format and a 20-minute cap. She shipped it to stakeholders with 2 targeted questions: are priorities correct, and any blocking risks missing? The response rate went up, review time went down, and she reclaimed 6 hours per quarter. More importantly, her stress cratered because there were no corners to spiral into. The thing most people miss is how scope collapse improves feedback quality. When you show a smaller, focused artifact, reviewers respond to the essence, not the ornament. It's easier for them to say, swap priority B and C, than to wade through a novel and comment on formatting. You're making it easy for reality to talk back, which accelerates learning and keeps shame minimal because the notes are concrete. Quick win you can do today: pick your current project and write the one-sitting version criteria in 1 sentence. A successful slice looks like X by Y time. Then create a checklist of exactly 3 non-negotiables for that slice. Not 4, not 6, 3. Share that with 1 accountability partner and schedule a 90-minute block to build it. The constraint is the feature. Common traps to avoid. I'll just add this one bonus. That scope creep disguised as generosity. Park it in a later repair or V2. I can do it in 1 sitting after I research 5 sources. Predefine research limits, 2 sources, 15 minutes max, then build. Shorter means worse, only if you cut essentials. If you keep the outcome intact, shorter often means clearer. Once you nail scope collapse, inviting reality gets easier. The smaller the artifact, the less personal the feedback feels, and the faster you can iterate. With a smaller target, you can invite reality in through structured feedback without bracing for impact. That's our next move. Build feedback floors that turn imagined shame into specific, solvable notes. Pillar 3, feedback floors. Now that your target is smaller, let's invite reality in without getting steamrolled. Feedback floors are the minimum checkpoints where you let real people react at 30%, 70%, and 90% completion. The goal is simple. Convert imagined shame into specific, solvable notes before you overinvest. Done right, you'll reduce anxiety, fix the right things, and ship with calm. Why this works? Your brain fears undefined judgment. Early, structured feedback replaces vague dread with precise direction. And because you're sharing smaller artifacts, the feedback stings less and lands better. Most people wait until 100%, ask for broad opinions, and then drown. We'll do the opposite, earlier, smaller, focused. Here's what a feedback floor is in practice. You choose a minimum viable audience, 2 to 5 people who match the user or stakeholder and will answer on time. You ask pointed questions that force useful responses like, "What's unclear?" instead of "thoughts," and you time it. 30% to confirm direction, 70% to close gaps, 90% to catch showstoppers. Let me show you exactly how to set the floors. At 30%, you're validating the problem and approach. You don't show polish. You show the skeleton, outline, wireframe, bullet points, or a 3-slide summary. Ask 2 questions max. What's the goal you think this will achieve? What's the biggest risk or missing piece right now? If they can't state the goal you intended, you just saved days of building the wrong thing. At 70%, you've built the core and can demonstrate the outcome. Now your questions shift to clarity and sufficiency. What felt confusing or unnecessary? What's the one change that would make this more effective? You're not fishing for approval, you're hunting for friction. At 90%, you're checking for red flags before ship. Keep it crisp. Any showstoppers for this audience? Anything that could break trust if left as is. If nothing big emerges, you ship on schedule and push fixes in the repair window. A quick example, you're creating a 5-minute tutorial. At 30%, you share a 1-page outline with the steps and ask, "Is this solving the right problem? And which step would you skip?" You cut a step. At 70%, you send a rough cut with captions and ask, "Where did you pause or rewind?" They flag the middle. You add an on-screen diagram. At 90%, you ask, "Any trust breakers?" They spot a mislabeled shortcut. You fix that and publish on time. Imagine doom turned into 3 concrete edits. Now here's where most people mess up, crowdsourcing and vagueness. If you blast a draft to your entire Slack with thoughts, you'll get noise, conflicting preferences, and late-night spirals. Keep the audience small, define their role, and constrain the questions. Also, no defensive replies. If you argue with notes, people train themselves not to help. Say, "Thanks, here's what I'll adjust," then decide privately. Another common mistake is collapsing into shame when feedback arrives. Remember the rule, feedback is about the work, not your worth. Train the reflex. When a tough note lands, say out loud, "Good, now I know." Then map it to a fix or a backlog item for the repair window. You're building your repair identity in real time. Let me give you a micro story. A coaching client shared a 30% slide outline with 2 precise questions. "Is the decision clear? And what context is missing?" The stakeholder replied with 3 bullet points. She spent 90 minutes adding a single alignment slide and cut a fluff section. The result? The meeting ran short and approved on first pass. Before, she would have built a 20-page deck, then reworked it after a chaotic review. The floor saved her a week. The thing most people miss is the power of pre-writing the ask. Draft your feedback request before you start building. That forces clarity on the outcome and keeps you from drifting. Here's a simple template you can use. Context, 1 sentence about the goal and audience. Artifact, what you're sharing and its completion level. 2 questions, focused on goal and friction. Response format, reply with bullets by time, no need to mark up. Gratitude line, thanks, your notes will shape V1. If you're worried people won't respond, set expectations up front. Ask for a yes to the role, not just a favor. Can I count on you as a 30%, 70% reviewer this month? 2 quick passes, 10 minutes each. That creates a commitment loop. Rotate reviewers to avoid overloading anyone and to diversify perspective. Let me add a shortcut nobody teaches. Timestamp the checkpoint in your calendar with the exact artifact you'll share. Wednesday 11:30, send outline PDF plus 2 questions to Maya and Ken. Remove friction. The more automatic this feels, the less your critic can stall you with, "It's not ready to show." Quick win, draft your next feedback request right now. Write the 2 questions. Pick 2 names. Block a 10-minute slot to send it at 30%. Most of the anxiety melts the moment you hit send because you've moved from guessing to learning. And remember, shipping and feedback only work because you can repair. You're not gambling perfection, you're running a process. Notes come in, you triage, you patch, you reflect. That's how you build real safety and momentum that lasts. Pillar 4, the repair ritual. Shipping and feedback only work if your system knows what to do after impact. The repair ritual is that system, a simple, repeatable way to turn flaws into trust. Safety comes from repair capacity, not flaw avoidance. If your brain knows you can recover fast, it stops demanding perfection up front and lets you move. Here's what it is. A 3-step protocol, triage, patch, reflect, run inside a scheduled 24-72-hour window right after you ship. That window is non-negotiable. It's on your calendar before you publish, so your nervous system isn't gambling, it's executing a plan. You're telling yourself, "I expect some issues, and I've already made time to handle them." Let me break each step down. Triage means sorting issues by impact, not by loudness. You make a single list from all inputs, comments, DMs, bug reports, your own notes. Then you label each item high, medium, or low based on 2 questions. Does this break the promise? Does this damage trust? High gets same-day attention. Medium fits if time remains. Low moves to a backlog for a future pass. Patch is targeted action plus visible communication. Fix the high items quickly and announce the change where it matters. If it's public work, update the description, pin a comment, or send a follow-up note to users. If it's internal, post in the channel with a short changelog. The message is "We messed up," it's "We respond." That's how you convert potential embarrassment into reliability. Reflect is where you make future, use life easier. Capture 3 things: root cause, prevention, and checklist update. Root cause is the honest why, confusing scope, misstep, unclear ownership. Prevention is the smallest habit or guardrail that would have caught it earlier. Checklist update is the literal line you add to your pre-flight so it doesn't slip next time. Reflection takes 10 minutes, tops, but it compounds like crazy. Here's a quick example. You ship a mini course. Day 1, a learner reports a broken link in Lesson 2 and a confusing instruction in Lesson 4. In triage, both touch the promise of followable steps, but the broken link is a trust breaker, so it's high. You patch the link within an hour, then push a tiny edit to clarify the instruction. You post a changelog, fixed L2 resource link. Clarified L4 step 3 based on your feedback, thank you. Reflecting, you realize the link broke because the doc lived in a private folder. Prevention, standardize all resources in a shared, public folder. Checklist update, verify each resource URL in incognito. The thing most people miss is timing. If you don't schedule the repair window, perfectionism hijacks your pre-ship phase. You'll keep trying to pre-repair imaginary issues. Putting repair on the calendar gives you permission to ship the outcome and let reality inform the fixes. It lowers anxiety because you're not closing the door, you're sequencing the work. Common mistakes to avoid: making repair ad hoc, hiding fixes, and skipping reflection. Ad hoc repair means you grab issues randomly between meetings and never finish the set. That teaches your brain repairs are chaotic, which keeps it clinging to perfection. Hiding fixes looks like quiet edits with no acknowledgement. You miss the chance to build trust through transparency. Skipping reflection guarantees you'll repeat the same errors, which feeds the critic. See, you always mess this up. Let me give you a simple template you can copy today. Title it Repair Ritual 1-pager. Window, start and end time, e.g., Friday 2:04 p.m. Intake, link to your issue list. Triage table, item impact HML, decision owner. Patch log, what changed where announced, timestamp. Reflect notes, root cause, prevention, checklist update. Run this once and you'll feel the shift. A student used this on a product update. She shipped Friday, ran a 2-hour repair window Monday. In triage, she flagged one high issue, confusing pricing copy. She patched it and posted a public change note. The result? Fewer support tickets, and 2 customers replied, "Thanks for the quick fix." That's reputation built from a flaw, not despite it. Now you might be thinking, won't public change logs highlight my mistakes? Actually, they highlight your responsiveness. People don't expect perfection, they expect care. When you demonstrate a reliable repair loop, stakeholders relax. They stop micromanaging because they trust you'll handle bumps. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Pre-write your repair replies. Draft a simple, 3-part response you can paste when a note lands. Thanks, clarify, next step. Thanks for spotting this. You're right. The link should point to X. I'm fixing it now and will update the page within the hour. You reduce defensiveness and move straight to action. If you remember nothing else about repair, remember this: fast, visible fixes build more safety than flawless, invisible work. Plan the window, triage by impact, patch publicly, reflect briefly. That rhythm turns, "I hope nothing goes wrong," into, "I know what to do when it does." And when your system believes that, perfectionism loses its leverage. Handling the inner critic. Let's talk about the voice that keeps you stuck. Your inner critic isn't evil, it's a status bodyguard. Its job is to keep you from exposure that could drop your standing in the tribe. Under uncertainty, it overfires. That's why it gets loud right before you ship, right when stakes feel fuzzy. The move isn't to kill it, it's to retrain it. We're going to separate the protective alarm from the identity attacks and then redirect it to useful standards. 2 research-backed angles make this work punchier and more reliable. Cognitive reappraisal. You're not suppressing fear. You're reframing perfect equals safe into repair equals safe, which reduces threat appraisal and lets execution resume. Graduated exposure with response prevention. Small, planned visibility plus your repair ritual teaches your system that you can tolerate notes without retreating, shrinking the fear response over reps. First, name it. Give your critic a short, slightly dorky name: the editor, Coach Overwatch, Miss Perfect. Naming creates distance so you can hear it without becoming it. When the voice spikes, "You're not ready, this will embarrass you," say, "Thanks, Coach Overwatch, alarm noted." This tiny move flags the message as input, not truth. Next, thank it. I know that sounds odd, but gratitude lowers defensiveness fast. Try, "Thanks for trying to protect my reputation. We're good." If you fight it, it escalates. If you ignore it, it gets sneakier. If you thank it, it relaxes enough to be guided. Now redirect it from sabotage to standards. Tell it what job it actually has: quality control on non-negotiables, not timeline control. Use a pre-flight checklist so it has a place to put its energy. For example, Critic, your job is to check clarity, accuracy, and links. You don't get to move the ship date. When the critic says, "Add 5 more examples," you counter with, "Check the 3 non-negotiables instead." Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Turn identity attacks into checklists. When it says, "You're not ready," translate it into criteria. What would ready look like? Then write the list. Maybe it's thesis clear, structure tested, 1 outside review. Once those boxes are ticked, the critic loses leverage. You've given it a scoreboard that ends. Let me show you exactly how to run this in real time. The critic yells, "If you publish this, they'll think you're average." Pause, name it, "That's Miss Perfect talking." Thank it, appreciate the lookout. Redirect it, scan the non-negotiables. Then open your pre-flight, goal statement, top 3 standards, ship time, check each item aloud. Goal is clear, facts verified, links tested. We're shipping at 3 p.m. The ritual grounds you in behavior, not feelings. A micro story from last month. A client's critic spiked the night before a presentation, full body buzz, doom thoughts. We ran the translation. "What are you protecting?" It answered, "You'll look unclear." We turned that into a pre-flight, 1 sentence takeaway, 3 bullets, 1 transition phrase. She rehearsed that tiny set twice, shipped, and got a message after. "Your point was crisp." The critic calmed because it saw its concern handled. Now here's where most people mess up. They argue with the critic's story, which feeds it, or they let it run the timeline, which derails shipping. Don't debate narratives, deploy standards. Don't move deadlines, shrink scope. The critic is strong on hypotheticals and weak against checklists and clocks. You'll also see 2 classic distortions. One is mind reading, "They'll hate this." Answer with data, 2 reviewers cleared it, my 70% is met. The other is all or nothing. If it's not great, it's worthless. Answer with sequence. This is V1. Great is built over reps. Repair window is booked. Let me add a fast tool, the 3R script: recognize, reassure, redirect. Recognize, name the critic and the specific fear. Reassure, we have a repair plan, I won't leave us exposed. Redirect, assign it a checklist. Say it out loud. The body needs to hear certainty to downshift. Use physical resets too. The critic rides adrenaline. Do a 60-second physiology switch. 4-count inhale, 6-count exhale, 3 rounds. Then a 10-second power posture, shoulders back, chin level. It's not pep talk magic. It's signaling safety to your nervous system so your prefrontal cortex can actually follow the checklist. Give it a seat at the right time. Schedule a critic consult in your planned day, 15 minutes to ask, what risks do you see? Capture the legit ones, convert them to standards, and park the rest. When it pops up later, you can say, we handled that Tuesday. Finally, script your exit line. When you're at the deadline and the critic takes a last swing, say, stand down, standards met, we ship, then we repair. Hit publish. Then honor your repair window. Every time you follow through, you teach the critic a new truth. You're safe because you can respond. Over a few cycles, the voice shifts from don't ship to check the essentials. That's the partnership you want. Identity shift from performer to practitioner. This next part changes everything because it changes who you think you are while you work. Performers chase approval. Practitioners chase reps. Performers are judged by the show. Every deliverable is an audition. Practitioners are judged by the practice. Every deliverable is a rep toward mastery. When you live as a performer, perfectionism makes sense. Your identity hinges on applause. When you live as a practitioner, iteration makes sense. Your identity hinges on attempts and learning. Why does this matter? Because a performer identity magnifies shame. If a draft flops, it's I'm not good. If a practitioner's draft flops, it's good data for the next rep. Same event, different meaning. Practitioners don't take fewer risks, they're just less brittle. They collect evidence from attempts, not from praise. The more evidence they collect, the safer they feel shipping again. Safety through reps, not through polish. Let me make the mindset explicit. Evidence comes from attempts, not theories, not private perfection. Attempts. If you want more confidence, you don't need more compliments. You need more attempts with repair behind them. Confidence is competency remembered. And competency grows when you stack reps that hit the outcome, get feedback, and get repaired. Now, what does a practitioner do differently day to day? 3 shifts. First, track reps, not just results. Results are lagging and loud. Reps are leading and quiet. Create a log that counts shipped iterations, repair cycles completed, and learnings captured. That way, even on a week with modest outcomes, your score shows progress you control. You're building a body of work, not waiting for a standing ovation. Second, showcase version histories, not just highlight reels. Highlight reels feed performer brain, curated perfection with all the messy middle hidden. Version histories tell the truth, V1, V2, V3, each with a note on what changed and why. When a client or boss sees that, they trust your process. When you see it, you trust yourself because there's proof you evolve under feedback. Third, ritualize 1 imperfect rep a day. A tiny, real deliverable that meets a core outcome, then gets a micro repair if needed. This habit breaks the only big efforts count myth. Small, daily reps create automaticity, and automaticity beats motivation when resistance shows up. Let's turn identity into a scoreboard. Start a practitioner ledger with 3 columns, ships, fixes, learnings. Each day, log 1 line, even if small. Ship, draft outline. Fix, clarified step 2. Learning, people got stuck on the example, not the concept. After 2 weeks, you'll see a streak of agency. That streak becomes self-trust you can feel. Here's a micro story. A designer I coached was stuck in portfolio paralysis, only wanted to publish perfect case studies. We flipped her to practitioner mode. For 6 weeks, she posted weekly V1, V2 breakdowns of a single component library. What changed? What feedback triggered the change? Recruiters reached out not because the components were perfect, but because her process was visible and repeatable. Performer needed applause. Practitioner showed craft. Guess who got hired? Now hear us where most people mess up. They try to keep performer status while pretending to practice. They post behind the scenes but still wait months to ship anything real. Or they count hours researching as reps. Reps are shipped attempts that touch reality. If nothing left your hard drive or didn't get feedback, it was prep, not a rep. You might be thinking, but my industry celebrates excellence. True, and excellence is the byproduct of many transparent iterations, not one secret masterpiece. Practitioners do lower the bar, they move the bar from fantasy to flow. They protect essentials, run cycles, and let excellence emerge from the stack of informed decisions. Here's a practical setup to lock the identity. Rename your task list. Instead of to-do, call it practice plan. Each item gets a rep number. Landing page V1, landing page V2, landing page V3, accessibility pass. You're telling your brain, we're in a series, not a final exam. Add a short debrief after each rep, 3 bullets, 90 seconds. That debrief is your memory consolidation. Without it, lessons evaporate and the critic claims no progress happened. Add a social proof loop that doesn't spike shame. Share version snapshots with a small circle every Friday. 2 images and 1 sentence. Here's V1 versus V2. Swapped the hero copy after feedback. You build a reputation for responsiveness and normalize the iterative path for yourself and others. Shortcut to start today, do 1 imperfect rep in the next hour. Pick a small slice you scoped earlier. Ship a V1 that meets the non-negotiables. Log it in your practitioner ledger. Then ask one person a single focused question. Book a 15-minute repair block tomorrow. That's it. You just lived as a practitioner. Final checkpoint line to anchor this. I don't perform to prove, I practice to improve. Say it before you ship. Your actions will make it true. Weekly system, the imperfect shipping cadence. Cadence beats intensity. A single heroic push can't outpace a steady loop that turns ideas into shipped work every week. Here's the loop. Plan, build, ship, repair, review. 5 moves, 5 days. You'll keep standards where they matter, protect energy, and build the only confidence that lasts. Evidence you can deliver on schedule and handle bumps. Plan sets outcomes and scope so the critic can't hijack later. On Monday, write 1 sentence for the weekly promise. Who, what outcome, by when? Then lock your 70% non-negotiables and collapse the scope into a 1-sitting slice for Tuesday. Pre-book feedback floors and a repair window. Put ship day on the calendar with a visible deadline. The signal to your system is, decisions are front-loaded. Execution follows. Build is focused creation with guardrails. On Tuesday and Wednesday, you work only the non-negotiables. Use a visible WIP board with 3 columns. Plan, building, ready. Each card is a deliverable slice, not a vague task. Add a shipping checklist to the card. Goals, standards, reviewer names, ship time. When you feel the urge to just add one more thing, drop it into a backlog labeled after ship. You're not saying no, you're saying not yet. Ship happens even if it's slightly uncomfortable. Thursday is for getting the work out at the time you promised. Use a short ritual, read the goal, scan the non-negotiables, breathe 463, then publish. If a showstopper appears, don't slide the day, shrink the slice to meet the outcome and ship. Announce it to your minimum viable audience with your 2 questions. Shipping is the rep that compounds, protect it. Repair is the safety engine. Friday morning, run your 24-72-hour window. Triage all notes by impact, patch the high items, leave mediums if time allows, log the rest. Communicate fixes visibly, a pinned comment, a team note, a short changelog paragraph. Reflect for 10 minutes and update your checklist. This is where anxiety drops and trust grows. Review closes the loop and feeds the next plan. Friday afternoon, run a 15-minute debrief with a 3-number dashboard. Ships, fixes, learnings. Ships counts deliverables that met the outcome. Fixes counts issues resolved in the window. Learnings are the lines that will change next week's checklist. If ships are low, you likely overscoped. If fixes are 0, you might be underexposed. Adjust scope or feedback cadence accordingly. Let me show you how this looks on a calendar. Monday, plan for 30 minutes, promise sentence, non-negotiables, reviewers, ship time, repair block. Tuesday, build for 90 minutes, assemble structure, hit essentials. Wednesday, build for 90 minutes, clarity passes, and prep for 70% check. Midday Wednesday, send 70% to 2 reviewers with your questions. Thursday, ship at your set time. Friday, repair 2 hours in the morning, review 15 minutes in the afternoon. Use a visible WIP board, even a sticky note grid works. Keep only 3 items max in building. Everything else waits. That constraint keeps you from multitasking your way into half-finished work and creeping shame. Next, standardize your shipping checklist. Mine is 5 lines: goal clear, facts verified, links tested, feedback checked, ship time honored. Read it aloud before you push. A common trap is moving ship day. You'll tell yourself it's strategic. It's often fear. If a true blocker hits, collapse scope and ship the smallest slice that still hits the promise. That protects cadence and reminds your brain you can adapt without breaking commitments. Another trap is stacking repairs, letting issues pile until they're overwhelming. Keep the window small and regular so fixes never become a second project. Here's a micro story. A marketer I coached adopted this cadence with a Friday ship and a Monday repair block. In 3 weeks, her output doubled, not because she worked more hours, but because decisions moved to Monday, ship became sacred, and repair was expected. Stakeholders started trusting her timelines, and her critic got quieter because every week ended with proof. Shipped on time, repaired on schedule. Quick win: open your calendar and set 2 ship dates for the next 14 days. Add a 2-hour repair block the morning after each one. Then draft a 1-page shipping checklist and pin it above your desk. You just built the rails. If you're worried about quality, remember, cadence doesn't lower standards, it stabilizes them. Excellence emerges from consistent cycles where reality edits with you. Protect plan from chaos, build from scope creep, ship from delay, repair from drift, review from vanity. Run the loop a few weeks, and you'll feel resistance drop because your system knows what happens next. Keep score the right way, and the loop gets easier every round. Now let's talk about metrics that build control instead of shame. Metrics that don't trigger shame. Let's keep score the right way. Outcome metrics, views, sales, likes, grades, spike anxiety because they live outside your control and arrive on their own timeline. When you peg your worth to them, every dip feels like a verdict and your critic grabs the wheel. Process metrics flip that. They measure behaviors you control and reward the system you've been building. Ship, get feedback, repair, learn. You'll feel calmer and improve faster because your scoreboard matches the actions that drive results. Here's the what: track attempts, repair cycles, and feedback incorporated. Attempts are shipped deliverables that met your 70% non-negotiables, no drafts hiding in a folder. Repair cycles are issues triaged and patched inside your repair window, proof of resilience. Feedback incorporated counts specific notes you implemented, proof you're listening to reality. These 3 show momentum, responsiveness, and learning. That combo builds trust internally and externally. Now, let me show you exactly how to implement this with a 3-number weekly dashboard. Ships, fixes, learnings. Ships is the count of artifacts you release that hit the core outcome. Fixes is the count of issues closed during repair windows. Learnings is the count of distinct insights you captured and turned into a checklist tweak or a principle. Fill it every Friday in your review. One glance tells you if cadence, safety, and growth are alive. What does this do in practice? A week reading 324 says you shipped 3 items, resolved 2 fixes, and captured 4 lessons, solid flow. If you see 3 weeks in a row, that's a signal, not shame. Either scope is too big, feedback floors are missing, or repair windows slipped. Adjust levers, collapse scope further, add a 30% check, and protect your repair block. You're piloting a system, not judging yourself. The thing most people miss is how process metrics create emotional buffer. When outcomes wobble, say a video underperforms, you still see wins. We shipped on time, fixed 2 issues, learned that the hook missed a pain point. That framing keeps you moving and turns a disappointment into direction. Confidence stops being, "they loved me," and becomes, "I kept my agreements and improved." Now here's where most people mess up. Vanity metrics, streak obsession, and metric roulette. Vanity metrics are numbers that look impressive but don't guide behavior, followers, total watch time, cumulative downloads. They're fine to note but don't make them your primary scoreboard. Streak obsession is getting high on an unbroken chain and melting down when you miss one. Replace streaks with X of Y weeks. Aim for 8 of 10, not infinity. Metric roulette is changing your metrics every week. Pick ships, fixes, learnings, and stick with them for at least a quarter. Let me give you a simple setup. Create a tiny dashboard at the top of your weekly plan. SFL each ship you log includes a link and the promise sentence. Each fix includes the issue and the patch note. Each learning includes the checklist line you updated. This matters. The learning isn't real until it alters future behavior. If no checklist changes, it's trivia. A micro story to anchor it. A freelancer I coached used to spiral on client feedback and algorithm dips. We moved her to SFL week 1, 211. Week 4, 335. She told me, I still notice results, but I finally feel in control. Her proposals got cleaner because she reviewed learnings weekly and updated her templates. Outcome metrics improved later, but the calm landed first. If you want a quick win, draft your baseline now. Look back at last week. How many ships met 70%? How many fixes happened in a repair window? How many learnings became checklist lines? Write the 3 numbers. If the numbers feel low, good, that's clarity. Next week, aim to move 1 number by 1. Maybe add 1 ship by collapsing scope, or 1 fix by protecting the repair block, or 1 learning by writing a reflection note. Remember this checkpoint line: measure what you control to improve what you don't. Process metrics build control, outcomes follow. When stakes feel scary, the next move is controlled exposure, and we'll build that ladder next. Controlled exposure, practicing safe discomfort. When stakes feel high, your system wants to sprint to perfect or hide. Controlled exposure is the middle path. You dose visibility in planned rungs so your brain learns, I can be seen and stay safe. Think of it as strength training for shame tolerance. Light weights first, add loads slowly, form locked. We'll build a simple ladder, define guardrails at each rung, and make the reps automatic. Why do this? Graded exposure lowers sensitivity. Avoidance gives fast relief but teaches fragility. Small, repeated exposures paired with successful repairs teach resilience. You'll stop bracing for catastrophe and start expecting solvable notes. Confidence stops being a mood and becomes a memory of reps survived and integrated. Here's the ladder: private share, small group, public. Private share is you and 1 trusted reviewer who understands your outcome and respects timing. Small group is 2 to 5 people who mirror your real audience. Public is your real distribution channel, clients, team, internet. You move up only after 1 clean rep at the current rung. Ship the 70% slice, receive feedback, run your repair window. Now define thresholds and safety nets for each rung. A threshold is the action that counts as exposure. A safety net is the pre-staged protection that makes it feel safe. Private share threshold: send the outline or prototype to 1 reviewer with 2 focused questions. Safety net: a per-written request and a 24-hour micro-repair window. Small group threshold: share a narrowed slice with a short completion time. Safety net: a clear opt-in, 10-minute response ask, and a ready thanks plus fix reply. Public threshold: publish the 70% deliverable. Safety net: pre-scheduled repair window, pinned changelog, and a calm response template. Let me show you exactly how to run a week with this ladder. Monday, private share a 1-page outline to 1 reviewer. Ask, is the goal clear? And what's the biggest risk? Tuesday, integrate 1 fix in 30 minutes. Wednesday, small group, send a 2-minute demo to 3 peers with, reply with 1 confusing moment. Thursday, polish that moment. Friday, public, ship the 5-minute tutorial with your pinned comment. If anything's unclear, I'll update within 48 hours. Then run your repair window. The thing most people miss is defining exit criteria before they climb. Without exit criteria, you loop at 1 rung, making it better forever. Use this: 1 repair cycle completed and no showstoppers reported. If your private reviewer confirms the goal and you address the biggest gap, you move. If the small group has no trust-breaking issues after the fix, you move. Rungs are for reps, not residency. Avoid jumping rungs. Going straight from 0 to public dumps a full load on an untrained system and invites a shame spike that sends you back to hiding. Also avoid camping out on rung 1. If you do 3 clean reps in private and feel the itch to just do 1 more, that's fear, not prudence. Move up and keep the safety nets ready. A quick example: you're drafting a sales page. Private share, send the hero and 3 bullets to 1 reviewer, ask, what's the promise you read? They misread, good catch, you fixed the hero. Small group, send the hero and first section to 3 past buyers, ask, what's unclear? They flag a benefit order, you swap it. Public, publish with a pinned note inviting clarity feedback and a 48-hour repair block. You receive 2 small edits, patch them, and post a changelog. That's controlled exposure. You stayed in motion, protected trust, and trained your system. Here's a shortcut: pre-build your exposure kit. 3 templates: feedback request, pinned public note, repair reply. 1 checklist, exposure ready, non-negotiables met, repair windows scheduled, 2 questions written, response template pasted. The more you automate, the less room your critic has to stall you with "we're not ready." Use the 2x2 discomfort grid to calibrate load. Axis 1, audience size tiny to large. Axis 2, artifact size slice to big. Start tiny, small audience, small slice. Progress to tiny medium, then small large. Only then go large audience. You're progressing exposure or scope, not both at once. If you hit a wobble, fast heart rate, urge to delay, pause and run the 3R script. Recognize the fear, reassure with your repair plan, redirect to the checklist. Then ship the smallest slice that meets the outcome for that rung. Momentum plus safety beats bravado plus regret. Final checkpoint, exposure is practice, not performance. Plan the rung, pre-stage the net, do the rep, run the repair. Repeat. Your nervous system learns you're safe because you're prepared, not because you're perfect.